Gender stereotypes within the education system, especially at colleges, is a pertinent issue in our society. From a young age, schools have diverged the relationship between males and females. This divide creates inequality, a lack of diversity among job fields, and a false perception of expectations that should be met by each gender.
I was only one of 2 Hispanic female engineers. Whenever I would attend classes, my professors would make snide remarks. So we think it's cute that you're here. Oh, it's wonderful that someone that looks like you thinks you can be a critical thinker or a problem solver. And it's just kind of something I've gotten used to.
Someone who I one time worked with, he wouldn't let me type. Like, he was my partner on this project, and he just kept pulling the laptop away and just doing all the work, and he'd be like, oh, you're too slow. That happened a few times with different people.
As a tooling engineer, I would get called to the assembly line anytime they had an issue putting something together, it didn't fit right. I'd go down to the line, I was like, hey, I heard there was an issue, to which the response I received was, well, we actually called an engineer. So I ended up having to play it off a little with a joke and say, oh, well, sorry I didn't wear my engineer hat today, but I promise I'm a girl. My fellow coworker would go and say, oh, hey, I'm your engineer. They would never get questioned. I was very hurt because I had something I had worked for really hard. Here I am to help and serve, and the whole reason I became an engineer was to help solve problems. And yet these people question my ability in order to do so.
While there has been a rise in the numbers of women in STEM-related majors and fields, there's still a clear male majority. Between a lack of role models in STEM fields and constantly hearing stereotypes of men being better at math and science, women are discouraged from pursuing STEM pathways in their education. Internal biases within STEM fields often create a toxic environment for women as well.
That's it.
Let's type it up.
I sing country music, so thank you so much for giving me a chance to win a VMA award.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
There have been several accounts of sexism within STEM classrooms or work environments, which add up to an additional barrier for women and force them to prove themselves and their qualifications.
STEM majors are not the only ones stereotyped. Majors such as communications, English, or education are thought of as being easier or for less driven students. These majors are also thought of as being female-dominated, which further drives the gender stereotypes of women being less capable than their male peers. On the other hand, majors such as business or finance are stereotyped as being egotistical and conceited. These types of stereotypes can create toxic environments around deciding which major to choose while in college. It forces students to take into consideration what automatic assumptions will be made of them or how they will be treated based on the path they decide to take.
Greek life is very prevalent as over 650 college campuses have both social and multicultural fraternities and sororities. Fraternities and sororities are based on traditions that have been held for centuries. Due to the fact that these traditions were created in a time where sexism and toxic masculinity were more normalized than they are today, Greek life is infiltrated with gender stereotypes. Hazing is a commonly practiced tradition that has not changed very much over the years. The acts of hazing consist of sometimes humiliating and or dangerous rituals members have to partake in order to be initiated. In frats, hazing usually consists of pledges having to prove their masculinity. Depending on how harsh the particular frat is, this can be through coercing the consumption of alcohol and other drugs, beatings, assault, branding, and other unpleasant or unusual acts. For sororities, hazing can look similar, but it's not usually as severe in the way fraternities haze their pledges. Depending on the school and chapter, sororities might base their hazing more on body shape and other beauty standards.
Growing up as impressionable children, we are molded by the stereotypes that we treat as ordinary life. The influence put on us by society and the education system cause distinguished outcomes in later life. The disproportion between men and women in STEM majors show how bias in the same stereotypes that influence our personality creates inequality for men and women. As long as these stereotypes are prevalent in young children's lives, true equality in any situation will not be met. Society must begin to treat both genders equally in any sense. That way, there would be no influence for men or women to accept specific social expectations or choose one major over another. Although it is unlikely for society to achieve this, it's the only feasible way stereotypes can be completely eliminated from society.